I begin in the name of God, who is most beneficial, most merciful. Nick Quidwai, resident of Newberry Park, director concerned citizen of Thousand Oaks. Sunday, October 21st, 2012. Hello, TO residents and other friends at large. Taking this opportunity to talk about the shenanigans that are going on with the contributions and donations to the Thousand Oaks City Council. I spent about 8 hours or so trying to dissect the donations made, especially to the top candidates, and lo and behold, I discovered that there were many names that were repeated, as well as other discrepancies. Unfortunately, there is nothing in the code. I talked to the FPPC. It took them 2 days to respond to me, and the Star reporter was able to get to the head person right away. So I guess media has clout. But she told me that they really could not do anything, as well as saying that there is no regulation that businesses give donations, that they have to list an individual's name and title. Some of the candidates do that, and I hope that everyone will do that, so in the interest of disclosure, but there's no regulation, and it may not make a difference, like for Congress, if somebody has a small business and gives to Congress or Senate, but for these local races, a lot of times these small businesses or professionals like landscape architects, etc., they are making donations so that when they have projects that come before the council, they are treated favorably by staff and council. And that's one of the things that should be added to the ordinance. And unfortunately, the ordinance was adopted in '98 after a hue and cry when, again, at that time, the local auto dealers were successful. They were unhappy with a slow growth / no growth candidate, and they gave $10,000 donations per dealer to Mr. Michael Murky, and he actually won and had a disastrous time on the council. Jim Bruno, who's a candidate, was the chair of the committee. I had applied and was accepted, and unfortunately, due to politics, it's horrible. Even in '98, I was removed summarily because I had been a small candidate before, and I was self-financed. And the city clerk at the time, who's a political player, whose son is the treasurer of the Jacqui campaign, and she was the chair of the Andy Fox campaign 2 years ago, this after retirement. She played politics and was harassing me, and the Murky mayor said that I should not be appointed until this issue was resolved. So I was not able to contribute, and then they had this horrible ordinance which is unconstitutional in many ways, in that it doesn't even allow you to put 2 signs on your own front yard unless they are 100 feet apart, and who's going to take a scale to measure it? So let me come back to the complaint. I sent an email to the city clerk and with some of the complaints, and it was not directed at Jacqui. Jim Bruno had several, and Al Adam had one overage also. So I just believe in good government, and so I sent that, and the response that I got was just horrible. She tried to mislead me, the city clerk, and send me in the wrong direction of the FPPC. And she wrote after the link to the code regulation 18110, and I quote, "As a filing officer for campaign disclosure form 460, the Thousand Oaks City Council candidates, our duties outlined here, and when reviewing campaign statements, we are not required to obtain information to verify entries, examine previously filed statements, or check mathematical calculations." Well, that is completely wrong, and after I sent another email saying that I was going to the DA and the FPPC, she realized that, well, this guy is serious, and lo and behold, I was given an attachment of this form, which you use to file complaints against this ordinance. Well, even the information about the campaign contribution and elections is 5 clicks away from the main page, and so it's not really meant for average citizens or residents. It's meant for people that are special interests that benefit from City Hall or etc. So it's very hard to get, and this form, even as of today, as we speak on Sunday, it still is not on the website. There's a section for forms, and also, there's 7 or 8 pages on the election site about sign ordinance and the ordinance, but this form is not there. So I lost time, and nobody else also who has a complaint is even aware of this form and to do it the right way. I made 2 complaints. One I did using faxing this document, and then since the other one I wanted to copy a lot of the ordinance and it takes too long to type, so I made it into a scannable file, and then I put my copied and pasted some of the information. So I have 2 complaints actually, and I'm very disappointed that I read in the paper that the petition was circulated in City Hall. These guys have nothing better to do than just play politics. It's unbelievable how bad the city is, and I asked for acknowledgement because according to this form, there's no fax number on this form. There's just the address. It looks like you have to hand deliver it. So I wasn't sure that my email or fax would be accepted. So I wanted to make sure of that, because a lot of times, and this city is famous for it, that they will beat you on a technicality. So I asked that I should get acknowledgement that the form was received. And I think Friday I received an acknowledgement first from the city clerk and then later from the city attorney that my form had been received. I believe on Thursday I received a text message from the wonderful mayor saying that I have discovered the error, singular. So I wrote back to her, "Madam, it's not an error. There's a whole plethora of errors." And it's so sad that I find out that the checks have been returned, and that the city clerk attorney will not follow up on this. I find out through the newspaper. They have time on a Saturday even to talk to the newspaper because they want to polish up the image and put a positive spin. But up until now, I have not received anything, and they will probably send it by U.S. mail, which will take 3 or 4 days, trying to delay the process like the city clerk sent me on a wild goose chase on the FPPC instead of directing me to the city's 98 ordinance, which is 1-13.03. It is so sad that they feed the reporters at City Hall and make it abundantly clear that if they write anything which is not positive or even neutral, that they will not have access to information. So it was interesting that the Acorn, which is a weekly paper, and it had already been published on Friday, but on Saturday they on the website put in a So Friday evening, I get an email from a council member and also from an activist that helped me with this issue, saying that with a link to the Acorn. And I later discovered that the editor had sent me an email too about breaking news, and the headline was on the website of the Thousand Oaks Acorn, 2 TO candidates accused of campaign funding violations. And I couldn't believe the hypocrisy or the politics that they were playing, in that this reporter took my work that I had done and the complaint and never even mentioned the word or talked to me. I mean, I don't even need my name, but talked to me so that she would know what the complaint was. She just talked to the staff. And then the second part was a frivolous, politically motivated campaign by Rick Lemon that does not even deserve any space, and it was obvious that there was no merit to it. And she quoted him extensively for violating, no rules, but having his picture on a Measure L, etc. So it's very sad. In fact, this paper has a policy. They used to, in fact, cover the council without even having a reporter present. So I don't know if they watched the hearing on TV or they just called some of the staff to get a handout. And this reporter just purposely won't even forget mentioning my name, but won't. I bring up the issues as one of the few people who's active, and she won't bring up the issue at all. In fact, in this paper, Vern Williams brings up the issue about the city borrowing and going on a limb of $17 million for the 2030 freeway interchange. And she quotes him as that one of the things that he doesn't like, but as one who talked about it, it's not mentioned in the story, and all you hear about is the staff PR positive spin. So they ran this story, and so I contacted the Star immediately and chastised them for being a daily newspaper. And I had already been sending the emails to both these people since Monday that they had not done anything. And to this day, the other hot issue that they don't want to cover is that we probably will lose Jacqui in midterm because her family has moved. She only has a son that will graduate from high school, and he probably will go to Stanford or Columbia. So then she would be living alone in the house. And her family members' headquarters is in Seattle, where he goes all the time, and they have other offices in Manhattan and San Francisco and in Frankfurt. So it's just a matter of time. I mean, is this part-time job really worth it for somebody to be separated from the family and be away from the children? Especially, let's say, if the son goes to Stanford, then San Francisco might be a good place to be close to one's son, or Columbia, then one of the child is in Princeton, and so it'd be good to be closer to them when you have really no real ties anymore with Thousand Oaks. And then now we cannot nominate, which is great, but then we will have another $100,000 or $200,000 cost for a special election. And in the special elections, people are not motivated enough to find out, etc. So it's not as good as like a presidential election or governor's election, where the city council people are also running. So the Star put a story up Saturday evening, and they had the same headline: 2 TO candidates accused of campaign funding violation, which is ridiculous because especially when the PPC quoted that it was a frivolous complaint. So I got the physical paper this morning, and they have this story changed, that funds raised in issues. So at least they changed that in the physical thing. And I just want to address some of the issues. I already said that I have to this day on Sunday afternoon not been contacted by Jacqui, her campaign, or the city attorney's office, city clerk's office, to even know the extent of where my complaint stands. And I, just like you, am reading in the paper as to what they said. I guess this statement by Irwin, we were unaware that although there were separate corporations, the auto dealers were the same. Give me a break. I mean, we had 5 hearings on the auto mall. We had a committee formed. Susan Murata is one of the main players in the city, even though she's a resident of Simi Valley, Wood Ranch, and she is the one that is behind giving these checks. She's a supporter of Jacqui, though she has not given any money so far, she may have given in the past, but there's no doubt she's a supporter, and these people know better, and she has access to the city attorney too. So this statement that she has, I wonder if a PR company in Seattle had written that for her, because she said, as soon as we found out the problem, and it was a misunderstanding, and we returned the checks, and we fixed it immediately. No, ma'am, you have not fixed it. You have not contacted me, and the auto dealers may be a sexy issue that stands out. That's the devil is in the details. And I sent two complaints, and you have Jerry Robbins, the so-called tax advocate, as well as Calvin Johnston. They both have two different entries, which add up to $400 for each of them, which is $20 above the $380. I realize it's not a small amount, but it's the same thing. I mean, if you miss the red light and cross it by 2 seconds, you get a ticket. I mean, what's the answer? I mean, was that a mistake, that the double entries? Calvin Johnston is trying to hide the fact that he's a builder and developer, and he lists a foundation giving the check. And this is what is not available to the citizens, and this is where the city attorney and clerk are supposed to be active to find out who is actually giving the donations. He lists a foundation. If this is a non-profit foundation, then it would be illegal for him to make a donation through that. And I've asked this question, I'm still waiting. And then the food. I mean, the former losing mayor, Bob Wilson, and his wife, they both supposedly contributed $380 apiece of free food to the campaign, as well as Holdren's Steakhouse in Newbury Park. For one thing, to have $380 on the dot seems a little fishy. I mean, if you write a check or if you get an authorization on a credit card, you can do it for $379.10. But to give food of the value of $380, it could either be that they gave much less and they're showing off that they gave $380, or they could have been giving $500 or $700 of food, and they're only showing $380 because that's the limit. What is the correct amount? And plus, again, even if they have two Cisco's restaurants, it's still the same family. So it's the same principle. So what's good for the car dealers is over here. What about, if she got the food, why not give a $380 check to Cisco? Because that's again against the same ordinance. And then, special favors for special people that give. I mean, Holdren's for 6 months or maybe even a year has a huge, humongous sign that overlooks the 103 and Newbury Road. That is completely illegal because banners are supposed to be up for 30 days only, for grand opening and for closing, etc., or with special permission. So I immediately asked that, in fact, code enforcement individual has given $100 to Jacqui that they serve notice to Holdren's to take that banner off, to be fair to the other business people who are not giving money to them. Tracy Noonan, I mean, she's being paid $300,000 a year to be the city attorney. Her contract was really not discussed well, thanks to Jacqui, who put it in a consent calendar. And she says that, and I quote, "My office would never conduct an individual investigation. We advise the complainant to file with the PPC or Ventura County DA in civil court." Give me a break. I mean, have you not read the election, that ordinance 1-13.03? I mean, it specifically says, and I read section 08B, allegations which are violations where if they occur in the discretion of the city attorney be referred to the Ventura County District Attorney for investigation and prosecution. I mean, that's the teeth that is in the ordinance. If we didn't have this ordinance, which most cities don't have, then I would have to file a writ of mandate or go to the DA. In fact, the city should have advised Mr. Lemon not to file the charge, because that's because he is wasting the DA's time, because she would have told him that there's no violation that has occurred. I mean, and so I'm hoping that the city attorney will not play politics and do due diligence. But this snake chamber of City Hall is full of these these problems. The assistant treasurer, or who's the treasurer actually of the Jacqui campaign, is Barry Fisher, who's the son of the former city clerk, who has given money to Jim Bruno, who was the campaign chair for Andy Fox in the last election, who's after retirement has become one of the political players in the city, and her son is supposedly the treasurer, and from what we hear, may have a relationship at City Hall with one of the top officers. And so what effect that has, if any, I mean, I'm sure it has an effect. I mean, that's a human relationship aspect. So how can these people be fair and unbiased? The city clerk is an assistant and protege of Nancy Dillon, and so she follows everything that she does. I mean, it's just not that the problem is at the Congress level or at higher office, but these people are, have made politics a dirty word, and they don't. I mean, it's not just the Stricklands; it's at all levels. And if you read this press release, I mean, the Pinocchio that was sent to me, it's these people who are the Pinocchios that are misusing the system, and instead of being there to serve the public, in fact, the voicemail at the FPPC talks about serving the public and being there to help people, and I never hear that from this city. So I think I've been long enough. I will do another talk about the council race and what's happening there. Good luck in the city of Chicago, like with oak trees. There's a meeting on Tuesday if you can attend. Bye.